Hey guys, it's Con from Hollywood Studios here. As I'm sure you guys have seen over the past few hours or so, or depending on when you're watching this, past few days, Six Flags has announced a ton of new additions coming to their parks across the country and even in Mexico for the 2023 season. This is really exciting. Not all parks were able to get something, but this was definitely a more family-focused year with a lot of family-focused additions. And in this video, we're going to go over everything Six Flags announced in detail. However, I will not be going too in detail on the Hurricane Harbor edition in New Jersey, as I already made a video for that, so check that one out after you see this one. But first, we're going to read through the statement they released regarding all the announcements today. And first up comes a statement from Salim Basul, the CEO of Six Flags, saying, "These new attractions are an exciting opportunity to ramp up the joy of our parks to a whole new level. We can't wait to share these fun and thrilling experiences with our guests, giving them reasons to visit us multiple times per year. We look forward to welcoming everyone to explore our parks, discover something fresh and exciting, and create new memories with their families." So from there, we go into what all the parks actually announced, of course starting with Six Flags Great Adventure, which they're actually calling the world's ultimate thrill park. I think that's a cool tagline, specifically with Six Flags Great Adventure's Hurricane Harbor, who's introducing Splash Island. And a correction I do want to make to my prior video, it will not be going over near the other kids area. It's actually replacing Caribbean Cove, as that is being removed from Hurricane Harbor. I believe it's being sent down to Atlanta for their water park, so it will be going there, kind of next to the mat racers. But I'm not going to go too into detail on this. There's a bunch of new slides, all meant for kids and families. So moving on, we have Six Flags Fiesta Texas. Six Flags Fiesta Texas, we knew was getting a Skyline Peace Getty Bowl dueling family coaster, and today both them and Over Georgia announced the name and theme for their coasters. Both are going to be called Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It will be located in Spassburg, replacing their bumper cars ride kind of near Skyscreamer over in that area, and it will have the Kid Flash theme. While at Six Flags Over Georgia, Kid Flash Cosmic Coaster will be located in Gotham City. If you've been to Six Flags Over Georgia before and remember where their Joker Larson Looper was, that's about where this coaster is going to go. As far as I know, they removed the Larson Loop. And in the animation used for both Fiesta Texas and Over Georgia is the same for some reason, but the animation is actually for Six Flags Over Georgia, and you can see the Batman Stunt Arena behind it, so it matches up perfectly with the location I just said, which is really cool. I'm glad to see that at least at Six Flags Over Georgia, the coaster will be DC themed in Gotham City, although I do think it would have been cooler if they went for a more Batman related theme since it is in Gotham City. Personally, I thought these would be prime for something like Batman vs Superman, but wishful thinking. This is still cool. I love the color scheme, especially the shots of it at night with the colored track. The LED track on these Skyline single rail family coasters is so cool, and I'm sure it's going to look absolutely awesome at night. At Fiesta Texas, it is a little odd that it's themed to DC. I was kind of hoping that they would differentiate the themes of these two rides, but I guess that was probably just the simpler thing to do, and knowing Fiesta Texas, they will make that ride look absolutely great in the Spassburg area. Moving on, also to Fiesta Texas, they are debuting something called E6 Gaming, which is a giant 5,000 square foot esports arena and campus with over 50 custom-built gaming PC stations, 5 console stations, all with next-generation consoles, live esport tournaments, event stage, and more. This was hinted at in the prior earnings call by Salim Basul, the CEO of Six Flags, where he said that they were going to be bringing in esports, which I kind of thought was a weird move, but I guess they're going to use Fiesta Texas as the testing ground, as they have for a lot of their things. So I guess we'll see how that goes and if it winds up spreading to any other Six Flags parks, but it's definitely interesting. Another thing we knew about, Six Flags Hurricane Harbor San Antonio, which used to be called Whitewater Bay, and they're now rebranding it as the Hurricane Harbor attached to Six Flags Fiesta Texas. They will also be getting a water park expansion, which we've known about for a few months now. It's very similar to what Hurricane Harbor, New Jersey is getting, with just a couple more slides, so that's also really cool. Moving on, we have Six Flags Whitewater down in Georgia, and they will be debuting Caribbean Cove, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure this is what Great Adventure has now. I believe they're going to be relocating it down there and then replacing it up here. That's kind of what my assumption is. It's a pretty small area, but it's got a bucket. It's got plenty of things for the kids to do, so it'll be a great addition nonetheless. Next up, we have one of the more interesting additions, which is at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom up in Northern California. They will be expanding their Animal World part of their park to include the Rainforest Trail. which will allow you to see free-flying butterflies, fish, a sloth, and other exotic wildlife, in addition to the new shark experience with audio and visual enhancements. You'll be able to have all kinds of educational opportunities to learn more about the animals and get really cool views from floor to ceiling of the 300,000 gallon exhibit with numerous different shark species, fish, stingrays, etc. This sounds a lot like something you'd see at SeaWorld, and if you've been to any of the 3 SeaWorld parks, you would know they do a really great job with their animal exhibits in terms of presentation, so I'm very curious to see how it comes out at Discovery Kingdom. I have yet to go there, but I know animals are a big part of their identity, so it's really cool to see them expanding this. Moving on, we have Six Flags Mexico down in Mexico City, and they are not getting any new rides, but they are getting a couple new festivals and experiences, which is really cool. There's the Heroes and Villains Fest, the Music and Party Fest, as well as the Gaming and Coaster Fest, as well as fun walks. There's not too much information about any of these. It's all kind of generic, different descriptive words. But I'm very curious to see what they do for the Heroes and Villains Fest, as they have a lot of DC themed rides down there. So I imagine they could do something really cool with all the DC theming. And I'm also curious to see what they wind up doing with the Gaming and Coaster Fest. Honestly, I have no idea. If I had to guess, maybe they'll just have booths set up throughout the park, kind of like when they do their Coke sponsorships, where they have like the new flavor of Coke out and a couple other things, kind of like Dreamworld last year at some of the Six Flags parks. But I'm very curious to see what they wind up doing for that. Moving on, we have Six Flags Over Texas, which for those of you who don't know, they are finally getting to open Aquaman Power Wave, which is a mock power splash ride. It's a really cool roller coaster that gets you soaked, has airtime. It was supposed to open all the way back in 2020, but it didn't because they were actually improving the capacity of the ride by adding a turntable. So in that regard, I'd say the delay was definitely justified, as now the ride will have great capacity. So that will be opening early in March, which is really cool. Next up is Six Flags New England, who's getting a very interesting attraction. I know some people were a little confused as to what this is. It is called Dino Off-Road Adventure, and what it is they're taking their Cars type ride in Kidsopolis, which is an already existing kid ride, and they're retheming it and adding some theming to it to have dinosaurs interact. They're going to have a lot of animatronics. I'm assuming it's probably a lot of the dinosaur animatronics that were used at Great Adventure and also at New England, and they're just going to incorporate them permanently into this attraction. It's also really cool that they're using a logo very similar to Safari Off-Road Adventure from Great Adventure, something I noticed I just thought was really cool. But it's not necessarily a new ride, it's more of a new experience, so to say. And finally, in terms of new attractions, we have Six Flags St. Louis, who's finally getting a new roller coaster. This roller coaster is called Rookie Racer. From what I can tell, this is a Vekoma Junior coaster, and it's really cool to see this happening, as for those of you who don't know, Six Flags St. Louis does not currently have a kid-oriented roller coaster. They have a few family coasters like Pandemonium, but nothing geared directly for kids. This will have a nice low height requirement and really fill a gap. I know a lot of people were a little disappointed with this announcement, but personally, I think it's really good that St. Louis is finally getting a kids coaster, as it's a gap they've really needed to be filled for a while, and it finally will be. It's a really cool ride too. It's small, of course, but it's got a really nice train, a cool theme to kind of pay homage to the go-karts, and overall it's pretty cool. From there, we have just some general announcements. Of course, I reported on Scream Break, the new event happening during spring break, where basically it's Fright Fest during the spring. It's really cool. It's an after-hours event, so definitely check that out if you're interested. There's also a couple other new events such as Flavors of the World, Viva La Fiesta, Blues Brews Barbecue, and of course, Oktoberfest will be returning for its second annual year, as well as Kids Boo Fest returning, Fright Fest, and Holiday in the Park. And that's about it for all the announcements from Six Flags. Overall, I think there's a lot to unpack from all of this. It's really cool to see Salim's vision starting to come through. As he said from the beginning, he wants to focus on families and kids, and this year is pretty much all family and kid attractions. So I'm very curious to see how it all comes out, how it all pays off. And there is a teaser on Instagram currently for Six Flags America. It looks like they'll be making their announcement on March 23rd, so keep an eye out for that. I'll definitely report on it once the announcement comes out. It seems like it's something regarding their water park, but otherwise, that's about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my Hurricane Harbor, New Jersey edition analysis, which is linked down below. I'm Colin from Hollywood Studios, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, guys.